Welcome to Reuben's Indian Kitchen. Today I got my homies from Peach Blossom Eatery, Sam and Olivia. We're going to be making up some stuff that's on their menu and stuff that's maybe not on the menu all the time. Let's check it out what's going on. Sam, what are we making today?
We're going to throw down with our Pork-A-Fatusa sandwich. I feel like I need to explain that name just to start this off. So my wife's grandmother used to call her a little Pork-A-Fatusa when she was being a fatty as a child. So I wanted to create a sandwich that would not only embody kind of like what we do at Peach's, which is very whole hog butchery focused, but also, pay true homage to that name. So this is pork three ways. We have the loin, we have some pulled pork, and we also have a pork reduction from the stock that we make. As you know, Reuben, we get in whole hogs. We get them from Nottingham, PA, from a farmer named John who gives much love to his piggies. And we break them down whole at the restaurant and do a lot of different things with them, but this sandwich shows off a few of those.
Yeah, you guys do your own sausage in-house. They do their own scrapple in-house. I'm a big fan. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys will see me post about them incessantly, probably a little too much. But I'm a big fan of you guys. I really wanted to have you guys on here. I've been a fan of Olivia's for a long time because she owns a Little Goat Coffee Roasting as well, which you guys have heard us say a bunch on this show. Olivia, what are you going to be making?
So because I love coffee and that is where my roots are, but also with opening the Peach Blossom and working with Sam, we were able to get a liquor license. I'm going to make an espresso martini, and all of the coffee in that is Little Goat coffee. So I infuse a coffee liqueur in-house using Little Goat beans, and I also brewed some espresso to bring with me today for the espresso martini. And then we'll be doing a coconut dirty chai martini that also uses my house-made coffee liqueur, but as well as a chai simple syrup, which I know Reuben likes, cocktails that we've made with that in the past, and a coconut milk that we do.
And that's on the menu too, right?
It is on the menu right now.
Both of these are on the menu.
Yes.
So if you guys are looking at this and like salivating at the screen, you guys can go check them out and get these two things. So we're going to start with the sandwich.
Yes.
We have this pork loin that's been cooking here for a little bit.
Yes, we're going to let this baby rest for just a minute, and then we'll slice this thing up.
Sam, how did you do that pork loin?
So just a little salt and pepper, just like really let that beautiful pork, all natural flavor come through. A little salt and pepper, a little oil in the pan. Really doesn't need much more than that. We'll slice it nice and thin, a nice medium, because once again, we can eat beautiful pork at a nice medium. So yeah, let's slice this thing up.
So we also all met, well, I met them two at a restaurant that's actually been getting lots of praise, well-deserved praise, lots of long-deserved praise. House of William and Mary. Shout out to Bill Hoffman.
Yeah.
Ow.
Sam was his sous chef, and Olivia, you bartended there, correct?
I was, yeah.
So that's how Olivia noticed me when I went to go visit Little Goat for the first time. She was like, "You're a chef in the area," and I was like, "Oh man!"
And that's how Sam and I met, was at the House of William and Mary when I first started there. She was working in the kitchen and as a server, and then she kind of moved more into back of house as I moved up in front of house. So we have been working together for well over 8 years.
And we're still friends.
And we're still friends.
well, and Sam and some of the crew would come into Two Stones when I used to work there, and they would get some of the beer that we used to have.
Yes.
And we were just talking about a story about, we did Meal for the Masters, and Chef Bill had a big whole leg of Iberico ham, and we were trading Goose Island Sophie for pieces of ham, and it was like a little like secret like underground trade. He was like, "Here you go," and then they were like,
Give us beer, we give you goodies. Yeah.
I love that you guys use the whole hog here too. I think it's so cool. I think it's the coolest thing ever. I am not the best person at breaking down like whole animals. Like when I see people that can, to me it's just it's an art, you know. And so you have the loin that you just seared. You have the pulled pork.
Yes.
And you're using,
Yes.
what are you using for that? Just the
So this is actually a combination of a lot of the parts of the pig. I reserve the head for our scrapple, so we cook that, and then I'll add in a little bit of leg meat. But the pulled pork is pretty much everything else. I save the most beautiful parts. I save the loin. We save the tenderloins, which actually we haven't used on the menu at all. They're all just waiting for something beautiful to happen to them. But pretty much everything else either gets ground up and turns into our sausage, or gets cooked down for a nice amount of hours and gets turned into our pulled pork. The only other part that we reserve is the bellies, which we turn into our beautiful brown sugar peach cured pork belly, which
So
is
good.
yes, also
So good.
yes, yeah.
So what's the next step? You have the pork seared.
We got the pork seared. We have our bread that's just been nicely butter toasted. And then long hots is something we use in a lot of different ways on the menu. I love them. Italian roots, the broccoli rabe here as well. Can't help
Long hot
myself.
salsa is
Yeah, so that goes in our burrito. Yes.
so good.
And people read that and they think it's going to be spicy, but when you fry or roast or blacken long hots, as Sam does, the salsa really doesn't turn out nearly as spicy
Yeah.
as some people assume. So
You get a lot of that
a lot
flavor, not so much of the spice. Yeah, and so these, I actually just drop right into the fryer and let them get a little crispy on the outside, and then we steam them, peel them, take most of the seeds out, not all the seeds, like a little spice in there, and then marinate them in olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper overnight, and then they're ready to go, nice and juicy and soft and yummy like they are now. So we'll just lay a few of those on the bottom, then take our lovely pork loin.
Just cooked beautifully.
Yeah,
Thank you so
perfect.
much.
You
And,
guys can see that right in that above here. Look at that.
and
shot.
just line some
shot.
of those on there. And then we go for our pulled pork, which is hot and juicy.
Now you guys also have a really good pastry program, which we'll get into that a little bit more later.
We do.
Shout out to Briege.
Baker Briege.
We will brag about her in just a little bit
Yeah.
after we put this sandwich in, but I don't want to gloss over that because that is, I think, is a very important part about what you guys do as well.
Well, we knew that there weren't a whole lot of great options for pastries in Newark, and Little Goat needed pastries for the coffee shop to sell in the morning to go with coffees. So it was kind of a no-brainer when we were talking about a brunch restaurant to also have a really strong pastry program that went along with it.
Steal this.
All right, so you're going to finish up those 3 sandwiches, or are you going to sweet?
Yeah, so, and then we're gonna go with our broccoli rabe right on top.
You really can't go wrong with pork, broccoli rabe, and provolone, in my
Yes,
opinion.
yes.
I mean, that is another version of the Holy Trinity,
Yes.
if you ask me.
And this broccoli rabe has a lot of love in it. It's marinated aggressively with garlic, chili flake, lemon, and olive oil. Am I missing anything, Sam?
Nope, you got it. Garlic, red pepper flake, olive oil, nice amount of lemon. It just, brings that brightness to it. And just chopped up so you don't get that stringiness. You gotta chop it up real nice. Yeah. And then we're just gonna go with some provolone cheese, pop it in the oven, let it get all nice and melty. And we will have this reduction on the side, which once again, we use the entire hog. So all the bones goes into us making stock. And we have found we have a abundance of stock. So we use it in a lot of things. It's in our shrimp and grits to make the grits. It's in pretty much cooks every single kind of our pork, our pulled pork, our bellies, everything gets cooked in that. And then we kind of take that seasoned stock, reduce that down, and then that is what we're gonna be dipping this yummy sandwich in. It's kind of like a pork au jus.
Yeah, it's so good. I definitely had it already. As I said, I'm there way too much. But it was so good. The guy I was with had the pork belly sandwich, your new one with the goat cheese. So both of those were awesome. And again, just locally sourced, like using the whole pig, using everything, I think is amazing.
Yes.
Sam, like where else have you worked? I know we talked about Hustle and Married a little bit, but you have some other cool places you've worked.
Yeah, so William and Mary definitely got me into the butchery. I fell in love with it there. It was the first place that I ever got to break down a whole hog. And I just couldn't get enough of it. I was like pressuring him to get them in more and more. And then after that, I kind of wanted to continue and just find other avenues to explore that butchery in. So I ended up at a job for Defined Hospitality Group in Philly, opening Condesa, and I was their head butcher there. Which was really cool, amazing Mexican food. And then COVID hit, of course, and then I was home just building things in my backyard and trying to stay busy. And then ended up getting offered a job at Soraya, another one of their amazing restaurants. That group is great. And then got to kind of learn that side of things, was also the butcher there. And cooked on the line just a little bit, but yeah, got to explore that in a lot of different cuisines, which was really cool, and worked for a really great company in the process. So
Sick. So while you're finishing that, We're going to switch over to you, Olivia. It's
I'm
your
going to
turn
make an
shine. Your turn
espresso
to get
martini. Is that a good place
comeback
to start?
kid.
Yes.
The comeback
So
kid.
espresso martinis were kind of laughed at a couple years ago, but now they're back and they're cooler than ever, which just tickles me as a coffee person because I think there's nothing better than a balanced buzz of caffeine and alcohol. So I'm going to start with 2 ounces of vodka. This year's stateside, which is somewhat locally made in Philadelphia. I like this vodka because it doesn't have a very aggressive flavor. So if you're mixing it with something that you're very proud of, like a coffee liqueur that you make in-house, it's a nice vodka for bringing out other flavors. This coffee liqueur is a 6-week infusion of whole coffee beans, raw sugar, and just a couple ounces of brewed espresso. There's 1.5 ounces of that in here. So it's almost like a limoncello, but it's made with coffee instead of lemon peels. And then we don't have an espresso machine here in the studio, so I brewed some espresso before I came and brought it, and we're going to do 2 ounces of fresh brewed espresso, which is actually a darker roast from Little Goat. I like to use slightly darker roasts for espresso because it is such a concentrated brewing method that with light roast, sometimes it can get a little bit funky, and I wanted to really have like a nice heavy-bodied coffee. I'll just put some ice in my shaker, shake this up. I am in the school of thought that espresso martinis should be black. I don't like when cream is added.
You don't like the Baileys?
No, I don't like a creamy espresso martini. I want it to taste strong. We will add cream if you come to the restaurant and you want cream.
I was boring for taking my coffee black. I will say that.
Really?
Oh, we love a black coffee.
That's what I said.
Shake her off. I like to shake this vigorously, as you probably heard. It just creates a really nice foam on top of the drink, which is part of the whole experience when drinking an espresso martini. And then every espresso martini, no matter what, should be garnished with 3 little coffee beans. I think it is just the perfect little signature addition to an espresso martini.
Look at that.
Yeah, here, Reuben, why don't you do the honors? Let me know how it is.
Oh, no.
It's perfect for your mustache, too.
I know, right? Gives me a little
Flavor saver.
Man, that is perfect. That is perfect. It's not super sweet. That coffee is the pronounced flavor.
Yes, yeah. And
man.
I personally, when I drink hot coffee or I make coffee at home or if I'm at Little Goat roasting coffee, I really go towards lighter roasts. I like fruity coffee. I like slightly acidic coffee. That is what my palate enjoys. But for an espresso martini, I think dark roast is the way to go. It brings like a really nice grounding flavor to the drink, and it also just kind of smacks you with that big coffee flavor. You don't taste fruity, delicate coffee notes.
Yeah.
You just get like a big, strong
Yeah,
coffee
I like dark and strong coffee. Don't judge. Every now and then I like that gas station styrofoam.
Oh my God, I'm judging you.
I need that black tar in my stuff sometimes. That's the best. So what are your favorite things on the menu right now?
That's a rough one. My immediate answer is probably always going to be the Papa Tony's French toast.
Yes.
That is just absolute pure nostalgia for me. It is a dish my dad made for me and my sister and my mom almost every Sunday growing up. And it's just decadence, and it's just not a way that you get French toast. You get that crusty baguette that gets like so soggy and unctuous in the middle, and just the fruit syrup is so flavorful and bright and just not your average French toast. And I just love. And then we do a maple whipped butter, which melts over the top, and like you just
And it
can't
can be
go
done
wrong
vegan,
with that.
right?
It can
Yes,
be done vegan.
yeah, we'll do it vegan for sure.
I think
Skip
that's
the
always
butter,
awesome.
but hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff you guys have on the menu.
We
that's
do. We
actually
have a lot of vegan
friendly.
options. It was something that when we were opening the restaurant and kind of nailing down the concept, there is a huge wave of vegan and health-focused eaters, especially amongst college students. So while we get whole hogs in and we do things that have a lot of butter, like our pastries, we knew that we had to cater to that crowd because at the end of the day, when Sam and I go home, we usually are eating like big healthy salads after a day at the restaurant. So
it's a hard balance to find between like the pigginess and you know, the health focus. But I think we're managing it well and giving a little bit of something for everybody.
I think my favorite dish on the menu is the biscuits and gravy. It's a dish that I think is truly a collaboration between Sam and I, from like the biscuit recipe, which is my personal recipe that I learned while living in the South, and I'm very proud of those biscuits. And then the sausage gravy comes, once again, another method in which we use the whole hog. All of our sausage is ground in-house from these pigs. You want to check on that sandwich? And then the gravy, Sam was really able to layer just layers of flavor into it. Oh, those are looking so good.
Yeah, I smelt that.
Yeah.
That sharp provolone.
Got that chef nose on you.
Oh my gosh, that sharp provolone.
Thank you.
I got you, chef. Yeah, I think I've had a lot of the stuff on the menu. I tend not to go towards the sweet stuff, not the pancakes or the French toast. The garden toast, I think, is awesome.
It is. It's a nice avocado toast.
It's a good toast. I've had the burrito. The burrito is,
that's an easy standard for pretty much anybody can feel at home with that burrito in your hands. Yeah.
I think the best thing, though, my favorite, is the Greek freak.
Greek
I
fruit.
think that is a Peach Blossom
It's a
classic
specialty.
in my opinion.
It is.
I don't know if that should ever go off the menu, or if it does, it should make
I don't think it
frequent
will.
appearances
Yeah,
back.
I think it'll be
It
a
is just a
staple.
good sandwich. I think the first time I ate it, I think I looked at it, I was like, it reminds me of something like my mom would really like.
You did say that. That
And I
was
was like-
that warmed my heart.
And I was like,
for
my
sure.
mom would like go crazy for this dish because like it had like the cucumber, the yogurt, like all of that. Like I feel like my mom would be like, oh, I can eat this all day. So that's why
It's the best compliment you can get as a chef, saying it makes you feel at home, makes you think of mom.
100%.
That's awesome, yeah.
I do want to brag about Breege a little bit, though.
Please do. We love bragging about Breege.
She's doing some really cool pastries over there. Actually,
She is.
Chad works with her now too, and I think you guys are doing some of the cool stuff. Like, what's some of your favorite pastries that she's done? The bear claws? Like, what are?
So when we first opened, it was kind of me and Olivia in the basement, you know, coming up with some recipes, some things we knew we wanted to kind of showcase. The hand pies and the bear claws were kind of our starting point. And then once Breege came into the picture, we kind of just, you know, let her go, handed her the reins, and she kind of took those few staples that we wanted and has just been adding and adding and adding.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of the coolest things right now is the mochi. I feel like is like such a cool, different thing she's been doing that she just kind of came to us one day and was like, how about I try this? And like, that's kind of been the vibe every week or two. It's like, well, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. And we just let her go. And of course, there's a flop here and there, but for the most part, it's just absolute, we're just like, Breege, where did this come from?
When we first started, Sam and I were really doing a lot with pastry, and we were sort of assuming that we would probably take on most of the pastry chef role there. And there was this kind of breaking moment where we're like, how are we going to cook beautiful savory food and still make dozens of pastries every day?
And cocktails and coffee.
And we were so lucky to find Breege, because not only is she incredibly talented and hardworking and organized, it's just another young, badass female in the kitchen with us. So we all work really well together when it comes to ideas and flavors. Like, Breege is mostly sweet, so when we do savory pastries, she leans into us a lot for some guidance. But then she also she makes lemon curd, which goes on our pancakes, and she contributes to not just pastry, but some of the things that go onto the line for cooking brunch for every day. So.
Yeah, one of the things I've told them is, I've told you, both of you, I think part of why I like going in there so much is because when you go in there, it feels like everybody's just happy to be there. It reminds me, you know, and I think I felt the same way. My friend Nathaniel and I went to Snuff Mill at the beginning of this year, and we felt the same way. Everybody was just happy to be there. Everyone is just wants to be there. Shout out to Reuben if he's watching. But that is one of those things that it's like, it adds to the whole experience. The food could be good, but that whole experience makes everything so much
I agree
better.
with you, and I think that it is sort of our opportunity as restaurateurs, business owners, to cultivate a nice place to work. Like, we have to be there every day. And if you're just going in and berating your staff and making them feel awful about a mistake they made or not explaining your expectations to them clearly, how are you gonna have fun at work? So I would say it's something that, I'm glad you have that impression, because it's not that easy. We do have to be intentional about the way we talk to people who work for us. The attitude that we show up with daily, like, we really do our best to cultivate that atmosphere there. It doesn't always come naturally. Working in a restaurant is stressful, and beyond what most people think. It's a lot of fun when you can, have fun.
So there is the pork. How do you say it?
Pork-A-Fatusa.
Pork-A-Fatusa. I feel like I have to do this every time I
Yes,
say
you
it.
do.
I feel like we need a shot of you just dipping that thing.
Do I?
Yeah,
You
getting
guys are just
nasty with it.
feeding it.
Yeah,
Well, Olivia still has to make one more
I do,
cocktail.
and I have to
let's
dump
see it,
this
Olivia.
somewhere. So where can I dump it?
I got you. There you go.
This is gonna be edited out, right?
No.
Thanks,
This
Reuben.
is raw, uncut.
Okay. So I have one more cocktail, which is a really great brunch drink. It is still strong, but it's a little bit on the sweeter side, so you could have it with your stack of pancakes at 9 in the morning and no one will judge you. So this is inspired by a dirty chai martini, but like Reuben said earlier, we have a lot of vegan options at Peach Blossom, and I wanted to have this drink be able to be vegan easily. So I have this really beautiful coconut syrup that's made out of coconut milk, cream of coconut, a little bit of sugar and water all blended together. And I do 1 ounce of that. So this sort of has that half and half effect of getting really creamy and frothy, but it also gives it sort of like a tropical vibe. And then this is my chai spice simple syrup, also made in-house with black tea and chai spices. I don't use too much of it because it is very strong, so just 3/4 of an ounce of that. You could make this at home, and you could have chai old fashioned, dirty chai espresso martinis. You could put a shot of it in your morning coffee if you want like a little homemade chai latte. So I will send you the recipe for my chai simple, although I'm sure you probably have a good one too, and people can make that at home. This is more of that brewed espresso. I'll do 3/4 of an ounce of that. And then more of my
It goes into 3
coffee
pieces, so we can do
liqueur.
a little 3-way cheers
All right, I'm into that.
with this.
I'm hungry.
You guys can't just have me eating. You guys have to eat too.
I guess we'll have a bite.
I know you
And 2 ounces of vodka. And then I made a rim of fine ground coffee, cardamom, brown sugar, and cinnamon. And so the martini glass is just rimmed with a little bit of that, just a little extra party in your mouth. Get my ice in here.
And I have to say, when Olivia talked about this one and brought it to me, I'm not like big on the sweet drinks especially. And I was a little worried about this one, and I took 1 sip, and I think my eyes said it all. She just like got that smile on her face, like, I won, didn't I? And she did, because it's really, really good. Yeah.
Any drink that has any sort of like milky type thing in it, I just highly recommend shaking vigorously. The foam is like one of the best parts on these drinks. So
And look, that
shake it.
foam's still
look,
Still
that foam
hanging
is
on.
still
Yeah.
holding.
And like that
Still
color
hanging
just
on.
gets deeper
Yeah.
and deeper.
Oh, look at that color.
There you are. Now, Reuben, you might have to bend over to
I
sit
think I'm gonna have to bend down.
I don't know if you're lifting.
Sorry for the sound on this microphone. It's gonna happen right now. It's gonna be-
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man, that's really good.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, it is a dangerous one.
Yeah, that's a quick drinking one.
Yes.
That you shouldn't quick drink.
And then, Sam, I see you brought some
was gonna
extra.
say.
Oh yes, yeah. So another thing we love to do is pickle any vegetable really at the house. We on our snacks and sides we do a little pickle and chips plate. I love anything salty, vinegary. If you throw some sweet in there, I'm like extra happy. So we pickle these all a little bit differently, but nothing too strong. You know, we still want to show off the vegetable. Yeah, each week we have something a little different. Whatever veggies come in, we work with some local farmers. And whatever we come in, the little extra that we have, we'll
These
pickle
really
up. And yeah.
special, cute baby radishes here. We just got in the other day from Brewer's Hideaway Farm.
Yes.
So this is a really exciting time of year for us to be pickling because we have a lot of farmer friends in the area that'll just be like, I have a pound of radishes. And that might not be enough to base a whole dish off of them, but it's enough for us to pickle
Make
a
some
couple
beautiful
quarts
pickles,
and have them on the pickle plate.
And we always have our house chips, which I am like a dill fiend, so I like to do just fresh fried potato chips with some salt and dill and dried dill, and with the pickles just is a combo for me.
And they also do curly fries, guys.
Yes, we do
Curly fries.
strictly curly fries.
Only curly fries. So we got to do a three-way dip and cheers on
Okay.
this
All
one.
Right.
We're gonna do it right in this.
Right into the
Go for it.
pot.
We're all friends here, right?
Yeah.
I'll dunk her.
Oh, yeah, no.
Just thick enough to coat. You know what it
you go.
is.
You got this.
Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Thank you.
Heck yeah.
And that's how we do it.
It's so good.
I mean, it's just
A
like,
little bit of spice from the long hops is what really does it for me, like just that background.
And the brightness of the broccoli rabe with all the
Yeah, it's
rich
just a-
pork shoe.
I mean, this is a sandwich I could eat like
And
all
then
the
you
time.
just, you know,
Yeah,
Whatever's
I think I actually did that.
I
when I
think
was
I
there.
saw you do that.
I think I took the jus to the face after I was done eating my sandwich.
A shot of whiskey on the side.
Yeah, I was like, this was really good. That should be a new shot. It should be like a new pickleback.
All right.
Pickleback, one of those.
A pork shoe shot.
Pork shoe pickleback.
I think you guys should
Beautiful.
try your
Our
your drinks
cocktails?
too. I mean, I know
would
you guys have
love
already
to.
tried
I'll
them,
make
but
sure it's still drinkable.
There you guys go. Oh no. So
It's still good.
we've talked a lot about you guys. Where can we find you guys? Instagram.
Go.
Where at? On Main Street.
Yeah,
Talk
so
about all of
the Peach Blossom is located at 76 East Main Street, right in downtown Newark. You can't miss us. We have a rainbow under our awning and a really beautiful patio with a picnic table on it. And then follow us on Instagram at Peach's Eatery and Facebook Peach Blossom Eatery. We do post most of our updates and stuff on there. And then we have a really beautiful website that has our menu on it and more information about Sam and I and our backgrounds.
Little catering on there, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and if you need a beautiful tray of catered goods, keep us
Especially
in mind.
pastries.
Because our pastries are perfect for a dinner party or anything else like that.
Yes. Yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me today on this show.
you.
I was
Of
so
course.
happy to have you. When I was trying to figure out guests for season 2, I was like, I need to have you guys on. I think I hit you guys up like 4 or 5 times. I was like, I'm sorry. One more time I have to ask you. And I'm so glad you guys came on because this is awesome. I want everyone to know about you guys. I've been a fan since day one, and I really appreciate what you guys have done for Newark and like the food scene there. So this is special to me because I'm a fan of you guys, and I wanted you guys to have a chance to shine for me. So I appreciate you guys coming on, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching them too.
Come and see
Follow
us.
them on Instagram. Go eat there. Have this sandwich if it tickled your fancy, or if you want something that's vegan, you can have something vegan. You can have these cocktails
Gluten-free. We
there.
cater to the gluten-frees as well.
Yeah.
Check it out, guys.
Or if
guys-
you just want to see us in action, we have
Yeah.
an open kitchen, so you can just sit right there and
Yes.
watch your food be cooked.
Breakfast.
yeah,
in a
oftentimes
show.
Olivia's behind the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've drug her back
backwards and
there.
all. She's there. So check them out, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you, Reuben.
Reuben.